The desert blazed, golden sand stretched to the horizon, two suns hung high, relentless in their fiery embrace, no escape from the heat, no respite in shade. Dunes shimmered, sculpted by an unseen hand, a sea of gold, rippling under the scorching gaze of the twin suns. The air vibrated, the silence pressed, life seemed impossible, yet it endured. A figure moved across the dunes, their silhouette stark against the golden expanse. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows that danced with the wind. Each step they took seemed to echo in the vast silence, a solitary journey through an endless sea of sand. The air was thick with the heat of the day, shimmering waves rising from the ground, distorting the horizon. Yet, the figure moved with purpose, undeterred by the harsh environment, a splash of color against the monochrome. Amidst the endless shades of gold and brown, the figure stood out, a vibrant contrast to the muted landscape. Their clothing, a brilliant blue, seemed almost otherworldly, a beacon of life and hope in the barren desert. The fabric fluttered in the breeze, catching the light and creating a mesmerizing display of color and movement. It was as if the desert itself had come alive, painting a picture of resilience and beauty, skin like the twilight sky, glowing with an inner light. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the figure's skin began to glow, a soft, ethereal blue that seemed to pulse with an inner energy. It was a sight to behold, a living embodiment of the twilight, bridging the gap between day and night. The glow illuminated the surrounding dunes, casting an otherworldly light that transformed the desert into a mystical landscape. It was a reminder of the magic that still existed in the world, hidden in the most unexpected places. Silver hair, long and flowing, trailed behind her like a river of liquid moonlight. Her hair caught the last rays of the setting sun, turning it into a cascade of shimmering silver. It flowed behind her as she walked, a living river of light that seemed to defy the laws of nature. Each strand moved with a life of its own, dancing in the wind and creating a mesmerizing display of light and shadow. It was a sight that took one's breath away, a moment of pure, unadulterated beauty in the midst of the harsh desert. Ancient markings, a tapestry of stories, adorned her skin. Each line and curve told a tale, a piece of history etched into her very being. The markings were intricate and detailed, a testament to the skill and artistry of those who had created them. They spoke of a time long past, of traditions and cultures that had been forgotten by the sands of time. Yet, they lived on through her, a living canvas of history and heritage, each line a whisper of a forgotten past. The markings were more than just decorations, they were a language, a way of communicating stories and memories that had been passed down through generations. Each symbol held a meaning, a piece of a larger puzzle that told the story of her people. It was a connection to her ancestors, a way of keeping their memory alive in a world that had moved on. The markings were a reminder of where she came from, a link to a past that was both beautiful and tragic. She walked with a slow grace, each step deliberate and measured. There was a fluidity to her movements, a sense of purpose that belied the harshness of her surroundings. The desert was a place of extremes, a land of unforgiving beauty, yet she moved through it with an ease that seemed almost supernatural. Her steps left faint imprints in the sand, a trail that would soon be erased by the wind, but in that moment she was a part of the landscape, a living, breathing piece of the desert's story. Her hand rested on her swollen belly, a beacon of life in this desolate world. The glow from her skin seemed to intensify, radiating warmth and light that contrasted sharply with the cold, barren landscape. It was a symbol of hope, a promise of new beginnings in a place where life was a constant struggle. Her belly, round and full, was a testament to the resilience of life, a reminder that even in the harshest of environments, life finds a way to endure and thrive. The desert, with all its challenges, was not just a place of survival, but a place of growth and renewal. He watched from afar, a solitary figure silhouetted against the blinding light, weathered face etched with the hardships of survival, eyes narrowed against the glare, searching, always searching. His clothes hung loose on his lean frame, remnants of a life left behind. He was a stranger here, adrift in a sea of gold. He had seen things that defied explanation. This was different. He had never seen anything like her. The way she moved, the glow that emanated from her very being. It both terrified and intrigued him. She was an enigma, a puzzle to be solved. But what language did she speak? What were her intentions? Curiosity warred with caution. He needed to know more. He started across the dunes, each step a gamble in this unforgiving land. She felt his gaze, a presence distant yet palpable. It sent a shiver down her spine. Fear? No, not entirely. He was different, an echo of something familiar in this alien world. A kindred spirit, perhaps, lost and alone, just like her. The wind carried his scent, strange yet not unpleasant. She had been alone for so long. Could this be hope? Section 6. A shared gaze across the dunes. He stopped a safe distance away, his heart pounding in his chest. The vast expanse of the desert stretched out before him, an endless sea of sand dunes under the glaring light of the twin suns. He could feel the heat radiating off the ground, the air shimmering with it. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself, knowing that this moment was crucial. Not wanting to frighten her, he remained still, his eyes searching for hers. Their eyes met across the distance, a silent communication passing between them. Her eyes were unlike any he had ever seen, wide and luminous, reflecting the twin suns in a way that made them seem almost otherworldly. He could see the curiosity in her gaze mixed with a hint of fear, hers wide and luminous reflecting the twin suns. They seemed to hold the secrets of the universe within them, a depth that was both mesmerizing and intimidating. He couldn't look away, drawn to the mystery they held. He wondered what she saw when she looked at him, if she could see the awe and apprehension in his own eyes. His, filled with a mixture of awe and apprehension. He had never encountered anything like this before, and the emotions swirling within him were almost overwhelming. He felt a connection to her, something that went beyond words, a shared understanding that was both exhilarating and terrifying. He wanted to reach out, to bridge the gap between them, but he knew he had to be careful. The silence stretched between them, a tangible thing. It was as if the entire desert was holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The only sound was the faint whisper of the wind as it moved the sand around them. In that silence, they were connected, two beings from different worlds brought together by fate. He could feel the weight of the moment, the significance of their meeting, filled with unspoken questions and a shared sense of wonder. There was so much he wanted to ask her, so much he wanted to know, but for now, words seemed unnecessary. Their shared gaze spoke volumes, a silent conversation that transcended language. He could see the same wonder in her eyes, the same questions. It was a moment of pure connection, untainted by the complexities of their respective worlds. For a moment, the vastness of the desert faded. It was as if the world around them ceased to exist, leaving just the two of them in their own private universe. The dunes, the heat, the twin suns, all of it became background noise to the intensity of their connection. He felt a sense of peace, a calm that he hadn't known in a long time. It was a moment of clarity, of understanding. It was just the two of them, connected by an invisible thread. This thread, delicate yet unbreakable, seemed to bind their fates together. He knew that this encounter would change him, that he would never be the same. And as he looked into her eyes, he saw the same realization dawning in her. They were no longer just a human and an alien, they were two souls who had found each other in the vastness of the universe. Section 7. A Bridge of Understanding. He raised a hand, a gesture of peace. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the alien desert landscape. The air was thick with tension, yet there was a sense of hope lingering in the atmosphere. She mirrored his movement, a slow, deliberate lift of her slender hand. Her eyes, filled with curiosity and caution, met his. The silence between them was profound, a quiet conversation that spoke volumes. Each movement was measured, each gesture a step towards understanding. No words were spoken, yet a bridge had been built. The distance between them seemed to shrink, not in physical space, but in the realm of mutual recognition. They stood as silhouettes against the fading light, two figures in a vast empty desert, yet no longer alone. A fragile connection in a world of isolation. The desert, once a symbol of desolation, now held the promise of a new beginning. The bridge they built was not of stone or wood, but of trust and understanding. It was delicate, easily broken, yet it was there, a testament to their willingness to reach out, a glimmer of understanding in the face of the unknown. They were different, yes, their worlds, their experiences, their very beings were worlds apart. Yet in this moment those differences seemed to fade. Their eyes, windows to their souls, reflected a shared desire for connection. But in this moment, they were also the same. Standing side by side, their hands joined, they were united in their quest for understanding. The desert around them, vast and unyielding, seemed to soften, as if acknowledging the significance of their union. They were no longer just two individuals, they were a symbol of hope. Two souls, adrift in a sea of gold, searching for something more. The journey ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges and unknowns. But as they walked through the golden sands side by side, they knew they had found something precious. A bridge of understanding, a connection that transcended the barriers of their worlds. Together they would face whatever lay ahead, united in their shared humanity. Section 8. Towards the unknown. He took a hesitant step forward. She responded in kind, closing the distance between them. The suns beat down, but the heat no longer seemed so oppressive. There was a long journey ahead. Dangers lurked around every dune, but for the first time in a long time, neither of them felt truly alone. Section 9. A flicker of hope in a desolate world. They walked on, side by side, their shadows stretching out before them. Two silhouettes against the blinding light, united by a shared destiny. The future was uncertain, but in this moment of connection, there was hope. A flicker of light in the vast darkness. A testament to the enduring power of life, even in the most desolate of worlds.